Hello, welcome to another episode of Mr.A Tutorials. Today we will be learning how to create this drawing that you see right here in isometric form. So the thing to know about isometric is that all my angles are going to be done using the 30, 60, 90 triangle. And I went ahead, I took some notes. We're going to assume that every single side of this cube right here is 3/4 of an inch. So which means that if each one of these cubes is 3/4 of an inch, notice how this right here is composed of two cubes. I went ahead and drew a little line there, as you can see that it's composed of two different cubes. So which means that this right here, this line here is going to be 1.5 inches. So 3/4 and 3/4 equals 1.5 inches. So again, this right here will also be 3/4 of an inch. Each cube is 3/4 of an inch. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I need to do is go ahead and create a starting point. Let's go ahead and just assume right here is my starting point. I'm going to start from right here, from this little corner. Draw these three vertices, these three edges that create that vertex right there. So I draw a line this way. Doesn't really matter how long it is right now. Come back and go to the dimension. So all I'm doing is creating that corner. Now that I have that, come over here and measure 3/4 of an inch. So you can come over here to the ruler side, which is the side with the number 16. Over here, you can measure 3/4 of an inch. So that would be 0, that would be 1/2, and that would be 3/4 of an inch right there. But that could get a little bit confusing because there's a lot of dashes here. So what I like to do is, since I already established that each cube is 3/4 of an inch, I like to just go to the 3/4 inch scale, which is right here. So if I go from 0 to 1, because each cube is 3/4 of an inch, that becomes 1 cube. And then from 0 to 2, that becomes 2 cubes, or 1.5 inches. So from 0 to the 2 on the 3/4 inch scale will be the same as 1.5 inches. So that's what we're going to use here, just to make my life a little easier. It's kind of a shortcut. So let's go ahead and do that and measure one of these lines and make it 1 cube. So we're going to go ahead and line it up. Here we're going to go from 0 to the 1, which is golden that. The same thing over here. 0 to the 1. So getting vertical side from 0 to 1. And then we're going to go ahead and erase this. So you should be able to see where it separates bold lines right. Next up, let's go ahead and, since we've drawn these three lines already, let's go ahead and go here in this direction and this direction again. Once again, these are triangle, 30 degrees. This manner right here. Make sure it's always touching your T-square down here at the bottom. We're going to get the top of that line, go in this direction, bottom, flip it over, top of the line, we're going to go the opposite direction, but still 30 degrees. Just like this. And then we already know this bottom line here is 1 cube, or 3/4 of an inch, so we're going to go ahead and go straight up from here. And I need to draw this line here a little bit longer so that it can intersect. Let's go ahead and draw this other vertical line over here as well. 3/4 inch with a 1 cube line. Once more, I should have gone a little bit further. You have a shape that looks like this. We're now going to go ahead and go through this intersection, draw this direction, this intersection, and draw towards this direction using a triangle. And then again, if you did everything correctly, you don't have to measure again because you already know that each one of these lines will be 3/4 inch this way, this way here. And we can erase any excess lines we don't need. And if you're one of my students, I always tell you to always start drawing lightly at first because we're going to make some mistakes. So we always draw lightly, and then we go ahead and come back and trace everything in bold things. Okay, notice how this cube is completed. So now if I go from this corner right here, I'm going to go ahead and go down 30 degrees this direction. Top of this, this cube, I'm going to go down this direction as well. So let me go ahead and put my triangle so that I can do that. And how far am I going to go down? I'm going to go down 3/4 of an inch. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and just line it up. Go a little bit long. Back. Anyways, whatever we need. Top of this cube here, go in this direction. Then we're going to come back and measure with our scale. It'll be on 3/4 inch scale to the number 1. Zero to the 1. And if you did it correctly, all you have to do now is just connect those 2 lines. Should end up just perfectly. Erase the excess. Let's go ahead and now talk about what's going to happen once we draw this. And here now, let's go ahead and go back towards the left, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, and then 1.5 inches as well. Let's go ahead and do that. My triangle. Make sure things lined up. Make sure your T square. Okay, 9 inches. Long. Just this one as well. Colors are not so long. It's very lengthy here. Now I'm going to come back over here to my scale and then measure from the 0 all the way to the 2. Just turn. And fold it this way. Again, once you do everything correctly, you went ahead and you measured that correctly. Up and look at that distributed exactly 3/4 inch. Then we come over here, this direction over here. Now we're going to erase the excess. So now that we have our drawing cleaned up, we are pretty much getting there. We have one last part, and it's going to be this little L staircase. So we already drew this line right here. It's that line right there. From this intersection here, we're going to go up 1 cube, quarters of an inch. We need to go up this way as well. Now from this intersection right here, this has 2 cubes, 1 cube, 2 cubes. So we need to go up 1.5 inches. So let's go ahead and do that. This intersection right here, I'm gonna go up 1.5 inches. Okay, just draw a vertical line, have some light, come back and bulb or whatever we want to. And same thing here, we will go ahead, we'll go up 3/4 of an inch from this intersection here. We'll go 3/4 of an inch from this intersection. Okay, let's go ahead and measure now. Seeing the 3/4 inch scale, I'm going to measure 2 cubes. We're going to line up to 2. Go ahead and go all the way to the 0. It's 2 cubes. So we're going to do 1 cube right here. Cube over here. Okay. And if we did this correctly, you should just be able to connect these two lines here. Then what we need to do over here is we need to go ahead and we need to go over 3/4 of an inch, over 3/4 of an inch. And then we go down over here. Just so you can see here in the picture. So what it does. So I'm going to measure this to be 1 cube. If we did it correctly, we should be able to just line up those two lines. Should meet. Let's go ahead and connect this line here to this. And then we just need to go ahead and draw 3/4 inch this way, 3/4 inch this way. And go ahead and finish off our sketch. This intersection, 3/4 of an inch. This intersection, 3/4 of an inch. Again, if you did it correctly, you should just line up straight to the line over above. Measure 3/4 of an inch here. So just connect that to that. Erase any excess lines we don't need. Come back and bold in whatever lines you need to bold in. But here's our finished product right there. This is how we draw isometric in our 30-degree drawing. If you have any questions, comment down below and I'll answer those as soon as I can. Make sure to keep those nice and clean. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to our next example.